Good morning, boys and girls. I'm going to read you a story this morning called Leprechaun on the Loose. So what I want you to do is I want you to pretend we're all circled around the rug. We've just cleaned up morning bins and we're ready to start our day. So this is our reader's workshop time and we're going to read the story. But before we do, we have to sing our song. Are you ready? You got to sing it with me. We're going on a journey in our storybook. We don't know what will happen, so let's take a look. A leprechaun was loose in the classroom, and Sydney was the only one who knew it. Sydney saw teeny tiny green footprints on the floor. He followed them to the table where Mrs. Yoder had cupcakes for their St. Patrick's Day party. Sydney peeked inside the box. All the green icing had been licked off the cupcakes. Oh no, who do you think it is? Do you see the tiny green footprints? Sydney set out to find that leprechaun. It was plain bad luck when he stepped on his own shoelace. Woof, whoosh, splat. Sydney fell right on the table. Sydney ruined our party snack, Della Puddington told everyone when Mrs. Yoder threw away the squished box. I didn't do it, Sydney said. It was the leprechaun. An itty-bitty hee-hee-hee-hee came from behind the fish tank, but Sydney was the only one who heard it. During reading time, Sydney noticed something was wrong with the fish. He sneaked to the back of the room and looked into the tank. The leprechaun was swimming the backstroke, and the fish definitely were not happy. Sydney dove after the leprechaun. Plop, kerplunk, splush. Water soaked the table. Sydney ruined our decorations, Della cried when Mrs. Yoder threw away the soggy paper shamrocks. I didn't do it, Sydney said. It was the leprechaun. Sydney was sure he heard a tiny little ha 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 as he mopped up the mess. I don't know what's going to happen next in this story. I don't know if Sydney is going to get in trouble. I don't know if anyone's going to begin to believe him or if anyone's going to hear or see the leprechaun. But before we can make our prediction, we have to sing our song. We need to make a prediction to see what will happen next. We don't know what will happen, so we must take a guess. So I want you to pause it and guess. What do you think is going to happen next? During science class, Sydney heard a creak, creak, creak coming from the hamster's cage. Sydney tiptoed to the cage. He carefully opened the door and came face to face with the leprechaun. While Sydney and the leprechaun stared at each other, the hamster ran out the open door and across the table. Sydney dived after the hamster. Boom! Bam! Crash! Sydney fell against the table. Juice went everywhere just as the hamster scurried out of sight. Our juice is gone, Della said with a sniffle. So are the decorations and all of our cupcakes. Sydney ruined our St. Patrick's Day party. Sydney was sure he heard a faint tee-hee-hee-hee from behind the stack of reading books. Nobody believed that Sydney didn't do it. There was only one thing for him to do. He had to catch that leprechaun. At recess, Sydney sneaked past his teacher and ran to the art corner. Everything he needed was there. Do you think that Sydney is going to catch the leprechaun? Sydney pounded and snapped and glued. Perfect, he said when he finished his leprechaun trap. We made a leprechaun trap, didn't we? We made our leprechaun trap on Thursday. Then he hurried into the lunchroom and looked through the lunch trays until he found a stinky tidbit of corned beef. What do you think he's going to use that corned beef for? Sidney carefully reached inside his leprechaun trap with the bait. Just then, his foot knocked into the back of the trap. Swish, clang, zing! Sidney was caught inside. Oh no, do you think that was his plan to get caught inside his own trap? When we made our trap, did we get caught inside our own trap? No, we're trying to catch a leprechaun. He heard the tippity-tap, tippity of itty-bitty boots. I do believe I've caught me a boy, that I have, said the leprechaun with a grin. Let me out, Sidney begged. The tiny man scratched under his tall green hat. Now why should I be wanting to do a thing such as that? Do you think he's going to let him out? I don't know. Let's find out. Sidney thought fast. Come closer and I'll tell you a secret, he said. Secret? I love secrets, said the leprechaun as he inched forward. That's when Sidney made his move. He reached out and tickled the leprechaun right under the chin. Ha 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 ha! Hee 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 hee! Ho 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 ho! The leprechaun fell down and hit the trap door. The door flew open. Sidney rolled out and pushed the leprechaun inside. Swish! Clang! Zing! I've got you, Sidney yelled. Now I can prove that you ruined the party and not me. Party, said the little man. I'll make you a deal. Let me go and I'll save the party. Then I'll be gone and you'll never see me again. How can a leprechaun save our party? Sidney asked. With me treasure, of course. Should he keep the leprechaun and prove he didn't ruin everything? Sidney wondered. Or should he let the leprechaun go home and save the party for all of his friends? So let's stop, tap our chin. What would you do? Would you let him go? Or would you prove that you weren't the one that ruined the party? Sidney was running out of time. His class was right outside the door. He had to decide. Quick, tell me where your treasure is, Sidney said. He leaned close and the leprechaun whispered in his ear. What do you think he whispered? Sidney knew a deal was a deal. He opened the trap door and watched the leprechaun climb out. The leprechaun turned one last time and tipped his hat at Sidney. Then the teeny tiny man slipped out the window and was gone. Sidney found the treasure right where the leprechaun said it would be. It was just what he needed to save the party. What's inside that treasure box? I see cupcakes. See the cupcakes and the juice? It says juice on the little boxes. And there's a rainbow. Why is there a rainbow coming out of a treasure box? The class cheered. Even Della Puddington smiled at Sidney. Mrs. Yoder wasn't mad at him anymore, even if she didn't quite believe where Sidney had gotten the party supplies. Sidney was finally able to forget all of the trouble the leprechaun had caused. Then Sidney heard something terrible. What do you think he heard? Excuse me, lad, said a tiny voice from behind Sidney's box of crayons. I'm looking for me brother. Have you seen him anywhere? Uh-oh. Did the leprechaun do what he said he was going to do? That's a naughty little leprechaun. So I want you to answer a couple questions for me and with your parents if they're watching. I want you to answer question 1. Who's the main character in the story? Are there 2 main characters? Who are the supporting characters? Where does it take place? What's the setting? Is it outside in a backyard? Is it at a farm? Or is it in a classroom? Where is the setting? Where does the story take place? Also, in the story, there was a dilemma. What was the dilemma? What was the solution to the dilemma? What was the problem? And what was the solution to the problem? Remember our song, When We Have a Problem? When we have a problem, there's always a solution. First we solve the problem, and then we keep it moving. So, what was Sydney's problem, and how did he keep it moving? All right, bye for now. I hope you enjoyed our first day read aloud. Have a good day. I'm going to be updating posts, updating the YouTube channel with posts as I create them, and videos. And this is a first for me, so bear with me as I figure this out. Hopefully I'll get the ball rolling soon. And I hope you enjoy it. And go ahead, boys and girls, after you do the read aloud this morning, after you finish this and answered questions with your parents and had a discussion, I want you to go ahead and get started on your morning daily 4. So you have your word sort, you have a writing activity. So I want you to pretend that you're at the daily 4 station rotations. So you're going to do the word sort, then you're going to move to the writing, then you're going to read to self, and there is no teacher table. So what I'm going to do is for the week, I'm going to create a video for you to practice building your sound words and for you to write your sound words, and also during those times, during that guided reading time, I might give you a dictated sentence that you can write, but please be sure to read to your parent every day for 20 minutes so your parent can hear you read, help you with some decoding, covering that part you don't know, saying and sounding out the part you do, and then uncover the part that you don't know, and then sounding it out one sound at a time. Everything that we've done at our station, you're going to practice over the next 2 weeks. And I hopefully will be sending a video out in the next hour for our guided reading station for the week. So it will be one video that you view every day during the guided reading station. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you soon.